Another day, another patch, another update for the open beta 1.1.2, although now it is called 1.1.3. Though, before we get into what is in the patch, I will point out, and I'll bring open my Steam here, when you go into properties, game versions, and betas and scroll down to find it, this is still listed as 1.1.0 in the, large numbers. You gotta look for 1.1.3 in the small text underneath. This is what you want here. And that's how you're going to be able to play the beta. Right, let's go and have a look at what it is that we are getting in this beta. So, reworked Rebel growth to be less affected by investment, but more by the power of pops. Having played a little bit of 1.1.2, seeing investment count for like more than 75% of the Rebel growth seemed a little bit excessive. As Milan, it was pretty much impossible to avoid having rebellions early days because you start with a lot of land that is not cored by you. So this seems good. Rebalance serfdom versus free subjects to make the former more attractive. Yeah, free subjects was an absolute guarantee. This was the one you went for. Serfdom was pretty bad. Free subjects was absolutely goated. Removed the levy combat efficiency penalty from serfdom. Added peasant levy size plus 25%. That's pretty good for serfdom. I like that. Removed prosperity and levy combat efficiency from free subjects and added a minus 10 nobility satisfaction equilibrium penalty. This is the bit that hurts a lot. Free subjects is great for having your peasant enfranchisement, which I think is a great modifier that I always want to have. I don't know if I'm going to be willing to accept minus 10 noble satisfaction. It makes sense. This is a flavor appropriate nerf for free subjects, but definitely stings. And my games that I'm going to continue playing with 1.1.3 that started in 1.1.2, I've already gone heavily into free subjects, so this is definitely going to sting a bit. Land rights and auxilium et concilium privileges now have a 0.1 push towards serfdom to make serfdom a bit harder to move away from. Land rights, I don't recall exactly what it does, but auxilium et concilium is levy combat efficiency. It makes sense to have it push towards serfdom, for sure. Yeah, I'd need to look into what land rights do. I can't remember off the top of my head. But yeah, it looks like it's going to be harder to move away from serfdom. Fun, not great. I like free subjects. The economy. A fixed incorrect calculation for estate income due to a lack of control. Good. Apparently it was taking your... Say if your control was 70, it was supposed to give 30% of, the wealth of that location to the estates. What it was apparently doing was giving it 140%. That's what I've heard. I didn't look into the numbers myself, but that's what I'd heard. It was a little bit weird on that front. Basically getting whatever your control was doubled rather than the remainder, which, yeah. So your estates are probably going to have a lot less money, which is going to really impact the issues that people were having with the beta, which is that your estates are building far too many buildings, and then when your estates build far too many buildings, those buildings require far too many goods, and then your iron, your lumber, and your tools are completely wiped out. That is, hopefully, with this specifically, not going to be a problem anymore. Tribesmen had a 50% penalty for getting none of the goods they had no demand for. Essentially, what happened was they removed all of the goods demands from tribesman pops, and as they have no demands, you can't meet any demands because you can't not give them nothing or something like that. So basically, they had a 50% penalty to their satisfaction for not getting any of their demands even though they didn't have any. Thankfully, that's fixed. Advances that increase lumber output by 25%, increase it by 50%. Whether this is going to be necessary now because of the fixes to where the estates are, remains to be seen. But honestly, I'm fine with that. More lumber is not something I'm going to be complaining about. Sawmills now can also be built in all locations where lumber mills can be built. So anywhere that there's woods and forests, rather than just in locations with lumber RTO. They now have plus 20% lumber production instead of just 10%. So we're really ramping up the amount of lumber that's going to be in the game. For sure. Control no longer has an impact on pop promotion speed. Yo, I love this. This is fantastic. I like that a lot. It used to be a very, if you had zero control, you wouldn't get any promotion. So it was very, very difficult, for example, to get a bailiff to work. Say I'm playing Milan and I've got, I can't remember the location's name, Donda Solar or something like that. It's basically the gold mine. And I want to build a bailiff there because I want to up the control. But I built a bailiff there, and no one is upgrading to a soldier pop to fill the bailiff because there's no control. It was awkward and annoying, and I'm glad that this is no longer an issue. In the market, bonuses and penalties are no longer applicable to rural buildings. I don't know what this is referring to. What bonuses and penalties in the market? I don't understand that one. Maybe if you are aware of what this one means, let me know in the comment section below so I can become more informed. Estates now always prefer low control for RGO expansion if satisfaction is below 50%. Yeah, that makes sense, I guess. They have more wealth from low control, so makes that, yeah, okay. I also very much like the fact that the nobles and the commoners will now upgrade RGOs. Really like that. Is it a little strange that the burghers can't? I did see a couple of those comments. I don't think so. Burghers, as they are described in the game, are urban pops, right? They are living in the cities, they're living in the towns, and RGOs are the stuff outside the city walls, outside the towns. Basically, the land that they want to. It's the rural areas, let's say. The R stands for rural, for sure. Anyway, estates no longer build libraries, universities, or irrigations. No! My clergy building universities was always lovely to see. It is a massively expensive building, so I was always loving seeing the clergy build these. But, okay, I guess this is just rebalancing. Estates now think about the maximum population in the location and how enfranchisement affects them, and how much it is in the process of construction when expanding RGOs. Okay, that's good. Making the estates more aware. That's like good AI change. Fixed an issue where pro or anti-reformation policies were not correctly allocated to the pro or anti-reformation score, leading to wrong, friendly, or hostile outcome of the situation. If this helps make the 30 Years' War situation, the War of Religions and all that, function better, then I'm all for it. I've never seen a satisfactory War of Religions happen yet, so hopefully this is fixing that. Fixed an issue where the leader of the Ilkhanate was still able to perform the action to claim leadership. Alright, bribe voter action can now be used by the AI if they have less than 1 loan instead of less than 0. Radical reforms now also moves your country towards innovative societal value in the first option. Okay, alright, that's fair. The Call Out God no longer target any heir character. Sigurd Jonsson will create a character. Sigurd Jonsson, makes sense. Audience refuse correctly creates a civil war for Wales. More Wales fixes. I've been working on that for a while. Obviously, I didn't work on any of it, but it's good to see that being changed. Simplified the calculations for French subject attacks and appanage defense during the 100 Years' War, removing unnecessary checks. It fixes an issue where France could mistakenly join against a subject it had granted expansion rights to. Okay, fair enough. Parliament's issue construct manpower or sailor buildings will no longer be able to target locations which already have a better version of the building. Formables for Prussia, Sardinia, and Jerusalem no longer require the capital to be in the territory that needs to be owned from the country. This is amazing, actually. This means that Prussia is formable by Brandenburg without moving your capital to Königsberg or Danzig. Right? You can keep your capital in Berlin and form it that way. Fantastic. Sardinia, I don't remember. I mean, I guess Sardinia would be like a Sardinia Piedmont kind of situation. I actually didn't know this was a formable, so that's awesome. And Jerusalem, you don't need to move your capital to the Holy Land before you can see that you can form this attack. That's a fantastic change. Rebalanced elephant auxiliaries to better fit the upgrade paths. Okay. Fixed issues of wrong use of change country tag. Fixes the issue with the Hogwarts Day achievement. Yay! But it only works in games in which Ming hasn't already become China. Ah! Yay, they fixed it. No, it doesn't solve my issue. Though I will say I did get a message from Pavia basically saying that when I shared my save with them, it did in fact help them. So the fix for 1.1 was good, but it unveiled another underlying issue that was blocking achievement from triggering. They took a look at the report, found what they think is the root cause with it, and they'll release another hotfix with the 1.13 update. But yeah, it is unfortunate that I'm going to have to play Yuan again. I wasn't really intending to play Yuan again. That campaign was not exactly the most fun I've had. I never enjoy playing in China. So yay. But also, conviction of character no longer fires in the first 10 years. Fixed a wrong localization, causing the change of the Wittelsbacher neglect score to be displayed as changes in the investment score. Okay, so changes to the Brandenburg disaster stuff. Fixed imminent white peace alert not triggering for non-conquest wars. I have seen this alert pop up quite regularly and like instantly upon declaring a war. So if this changes that, then that's good. Fixed Diplo expense income tooltip for tributaries. Secondary proximity sources are now shown properly in tooltips. Good. Modding removed the deprecated change country tag. Use define unique country tag when creating new countries. Okay. And then misc stuff. Improved the performance. Yay. Improved performance for AI. Improved memory usage. Blah 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 blah. Good. Improved stuff. Nice. I am quite happy with that update. I have not obviously played with it yet. It only came out for me but 2 hours ago. So I've not yet had a chance to play it. If you have done already and you have any thoughts, let me know in the comment section below. I'll be sure to read them. And we'll probably have another update at some point soon as well. Maybe 1.14 in like on Monday or Tuesday. So that's probably when I will see you next. Thank you all very much for watching. Thank you all very much for watching. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.